And we're pleased to have Don Drummond joining us now in studio. He, of course, is the chair of the Commission on the Reform of Ontario's Public Services. And we want you, the audience, to be part of tonight's discussion. Our producers are hosting a live chat right now at our homepage at theagenda.tvo.org. And, of course, we're on Twitter. You can find us. Send us a tweet at #theagenda. Please jump in, and we'll get your comments up on the screen throughout the broadcast. Hello, Don.
Hello.
You have had a very, very busy day, and by the size and scope of this report, a busy almost year writing this thing. So I want to thank you for taking the time to come into the studio today. I want to start with talking about the basics. What was the scope of your mandate?
Well, with the exception that we were asked not to recommend tax increases, it was absolutely every single thing the Ontario government does. Every single thing it spends money on, everything it regulates, the scope was really rather breathtaking in terms of its magnitude.
You were tasked with not looking at tax increases. Right. You were also not allowed to look at certain things in education and health as well.
Well, in healthcare, it was simply to not recommend privatization. A little bit ambiguous what that was meant. We, to our convenience, defined that as being not recommending blowing up the public payer system, which left to a completely free mandate. I wouldn't have suggested changing at any rate, so that really didn't change our work. And in education, given that we have public and private components right now, and about 40% of the revenues in universities and colleges come from tuition, I wasn't quite sure what that meant. I assumed it meant not a radical shift towards private financing, but again, that didn't change the work or the recommendations that we would have done.
And your scope at looking at the finances, it wasn't just about getting rid of the $16 billion deficit. It went beyond that. It had a more future outlook to it as well.
Well, observing the record from the past, the Ontario government has touched down and balanced budgets on the occasion and has rarely stayed there for very long. So it was to be more durable than that. How can you get back to a balanced budget and have a reasonable chance of staying in the vicinity of a balanced budget? But probably the most important aspect of the mandate, and which preoccupied most of our attention, how do you increase the value for the taxpayers' money? If you were just going to do for a race for the roses to balance the budget, you just go around and cut everything that you could see move. But we've known from previous experience that doesn't tend to endure. The pressures build and the spending ultimately comes back. And it's not necessarily giving the best value for the taxpayers' money. So it really didn't initially become a cost-cutting exercise. It became seeking out efficiency gains. Here's the objectives of these programs. How can you deliver high-quality services in the most efficient manner possible?